Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Live Boldly with Sara. Today, we're going to jam for 10 minutes about the last 10 years of my life, the last decade, what I learned from the age of 40 to the age of 50. 2013, Thanksgiving, I had 5 of the most difficult days of my life when I had disclosure and discovery and disclosure, whatever you want to say, of my husband's betrayals that had been going on in my marriage. For those that don't know, when it comes to betrayal, relational trauma, you have what is called discovery, when you find out that something has happened. And then you have disclosure. And disclosure is typically done under a professional guidance. Mine was not. Well, not much that you could find over Thanksgiving. But disclosure is where your partner literally discloses everything that has been going on through that betrayal. It's very traumatizing to find out that somebody that you love that deeply has been literally not living in the same space as you thought that they were. So 2013, complex PTSD, it was very difficult. It was, and for those of you that have lived through it or are living through it, I feel for you. I really do. It is, I have no words, but to say that when you sit there and you question over and over again your life, not only who he was or you thought that he was, but also who you were or thought that you were in this relationship. And then who are you today and who are you stepping forth? It is a lot. It is a lot. And so where I want to sit though is with the story of what's come from that, right? As you know, I oftentimes say to people, don't thank the person that caused the pain. Thank you for walking through that darkness and coming out on the other side in light. The last 10 years of my life have taught me how to truly trust yourself again, how to be able to trust others, because yes, it can be done, how to love yourself so freaking deeply that you would never betray yourself. Never. Like and you don't get me wrong. There are times in your life where you do betray yourself, right? But I would never go to that depth of betrayal because I would never want to go back to that space again, right? And so there's so much learning that comes from the relationships that we do walk through, that we have lived through. And sometimes the most difficult thing to do is to set the boundary and completely walk away from your past. And I will say that there is so much peace and freedom on the other side. So here's the thing that I want to talk about though. I was just on the paddleboard out on the ocean, and a dear friend of mine called me, and we were jamming about life and her journey and forgiveness and my journey of forgiveness and, where all of this has brought me. And there are a couple of things that I want to really, 3 big things that I want to address within this episode that I know I really hope that these help you. First of all, in any relationship, the number one most important relationship that you can have is that one with yourself. Period, point blank, exclamation mark. That's it. That I learned at the age of 17, but I didn't fully embrace it or understand it until this happened to me at 40. And I'm now 50. And oh my gosh, to love yourself that much. And yes, it can happen at any age. It doesn't have to require you to go through something extremely difficult like I have in order to get to that place. It's literally a practice of waking up every day in gratitude for your breath, for who you are. Living is a gift, right? Like being here is a gift. You don't know if you have tomorrow. You don't even know if you have the next second. And so having gratitude for your body, your mind, your heart, your soul, your spirit, just all of it is one of the greatest things that you can practice. Gratitude is huge. And so, every day when I sit with the things that I've walked through, the mistakes that I have made, the lessons that I have learned, I do a lot of self-forgiveness work. And then I come back to the relationship triangle. If any of you know what this is, grab your journal and take a listen on this one, drop some notes. There are 3 things that you need to have in any healthy relationship. And the number one thing is trust. It's going back to learning how to trust yourself again, right? Especially you, because when we're thinking about this, like I said, the number one most important relationship we can have is that one with yourself. So start with trusting yourself first, right? Get down to that place of understanding that You have this intuition, you have this gut instinct, you have the knowledge, the wisdom from your past in order to make better choices in the present moving forward, right? And so as we continue to do that and continue to learn from our lessons and our patterns and to break those things that no longer serve who we are or how we want to live, we can learn to trust ourselves even more. The second thing is respect. Respect yourself. Ay, ay, ay. This has been a big one because I realize in my own life how much when I have actually disrespected me. Ouch. Ouch, that one hurt. Like I'm literally like, ow. Yeah, I have disrespected myself. I have disrespected and dishonored my values along the way in life. And this is where the self-forgiveness work comes in. Because, as you learn more deeply about who you are, you choose to not do that again because it hurts when you do that. And then the other thing is shared goals, like having shared goals with yourself, right? Like really getting down to, if you don't want it to be goals, have it be intentions, whatever, live intentionally. That is the third part of it. You need to have this intention, this positive intention, these positive goals moving forward in your life. Like understanding, right? Why are you here? And what is it that you want to leave as your legacy at the end of your life? And really like getting down to living every single day in intention, every day. Right. And learning about who you are and how you want to live. So that is the relationship triangle: trust, respect, share goals. Now, I add something else to the middle of that, and that is communication. And when it comes to communication, it has to be honest. You have to be truthful with yourself. And so if you're not respecting yourself, if you're not trusting yourself or living an intention towards those shared goals with yourself, then be honest with yourself and ask yourself, okay, why am I not doing this? What's holding me back? Where is the resistance? And so that getting down to the bottom of that relationship with you, that has been huge for me over these last 10 years. And being able to really dive into over and over and over again at every single age. How do I want to be? How do I want to live? And who do I want to become? And so when you can sit with that, that is big. Now, the other two things that I want to talk about, the first thing is having awareness. When I was talking to my friend on this, when I was on my paddleboard earlier, I was sharing a story with her, and this is how I look at this journey of the last 10 years. Prior to 10 years ago, there were signs along the way. Let's just use it as like being on a trail, right? Climbing a mountain, you have a trail, right? And you have trail signs. There were signs that were given to me along the way, and I chose to not see the trail signs. So I got lost. And in this relationship, I lost myself. I lost the relationship. I lost literally, where was the communication? And it's not that the signs weren't there. It's that I chose along the way to not listen to them because I chose to listen to him over myself. So even though the signs were there, I chose to take a different direction, right? And so what happens? You lose yourself along the way, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're falling off the mountain and you're like, well, that sucked and hurt. So this is where I said to her, there are signs that are given to you in life, right? Think of that trail and think of life. And so along the lines of our trail or in our journey, we do have signs along the way as well. And it's our choice and decision to listen to them and to act on them. Now, for example, my aunt just passed away a couple days ago, and it was my mom's sister. And I was talking to my dad about it, and he's extremely sad. We all are. I have super close family, and my dad and I were chatting about it. My dad said, your mom now has her sister up in heaven with her, and I thought, God, that is such a beautiful way of looking at it. And yeah, she does. My mom was very close with all of her sisters and her brother. And then I got off the phone with him, and I was thinking about his words and what he was saying to me about my aunt passing and my mom being with her now. And I was sitting with just my mom and just feeling her, right? Feeling my mom, feeling my aunt. And then all of a sudden I opened my eyes and I looked down, and I was, because I was walking the dog at the time, and I had taken a pause, and I looked down, and there were some angel wings that had fallen off of somebody's necklace and they were laying in the road. And I picked them up and I sat with them and I smiled and I thought, okay, this is the sign that I needed, that they are together and that they are enjoying each other's presence again, and that they are both where they need to be at this moment. As sad as it is for us here on earth, because we want them here, right? We all know that we're all going to be leaving at some point in time. And when people are suffering, we want them to not suffer. And so for that, for both of my mom and my aunt, they were both suffering, and it was time for them to move on too. And so that was a huge sign for me. Now, I could have dismissed it and I could have just been like, oh, well, somebody lost their angel wings from their necklace, so be it. Don't miss the signs, my friends. These are beautiful signs from the universe, from God, from whatever you want to believe in, if you're spiritual, religious, whatever. These are signs for our journey while we are here. And so don't dismiss them, because then we get lost and we lose our faith, we lose our existence, we lose who we are, we lose our internal relationship with self, and then our relationships with others. And then I was explaining this to her, I told her that story. And then I said, the most beautiful thing I think about my journey over these last 10 years is that, wow, this is going to be a big one. I have not only learned so much that I can see the signs and I listen to the signs and I follow the signs. And yes, I'm on the trails, but then I'm also blazing trails myself as well. And literally, metaphorically, and not. There are things that I have been doing in my life that I'll share more as this time moves on that have been super, super cool, that I'm like, I never in a million years would have thought that I'd be standing on stage, that I'd be trademarking make bold moves, that I would be thinking about and really leaning into my next book, that I would be stepping into relationships like I am again, that I can trust myself this much, and then also trust and love others to this degree, to this depth, after all the pain that I felt 10 years ago. It's night and day. There's the Sara that I sit and I look at from 10 years ago. I'm like, who, what, how did this, how? And really it's because I leaned into the same thing that I'm preaching today. I made those bold moves, right? And chose to not stay in the darkness and chose to find that light within me and that light on the other side as you walk through all of that. And so, and then I'm now blazing trails on, literally in the mountains where we're waypointing through the highest peaks in Southern California, because I trust myself and I love blazing those trails, metaphorically and not, like literally metaphorically out in the wild, but then also in my personal and in my professional space. It's cool. It's just like, and it's all because of the listening and the awareness. You got to have the listening and the awareness. And then this is the third thing that I'm going to say to you. Okay, so first is that relationship with self. Second is having awareness, self-awareness, and really listening. And then the third thing is give yourself permission to pivot, please. Give yourself permission to let go and to live. Give yourself permission to say, wow, what I thought that my relationship or my life was going to be like, it's not. And that's okay, because it was to get you to where you are, to get you to become who you were intended all along. And that has literally been stopping this whole control of what I thought my life was supposed to look like, and realizing that I really, like, guess what? What I thought is not what it is. And I'm not in control of that. What I am in control of, right? And what I can control is the learning through this lifetime to get me to be that person that I was intended when I was placed on this earth. There's this whole saying, like, you go ahead and plan, but is it like plan, but God will laugh, or something like that? The universe will laugh, right? We all have these thoughts or this like, oh, this is how it's going to be. I'm going to have the house with the white picket fence and the 3 kids, and I'm going to be happy and traditional and like in my ways, and I'm going to be the mom and da 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 da. That was me. Like and I was a teacher, right? And I thought, oh, this is this is my life and how it's going to become. And it didn't. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm so freaking glad it didn't, because it is so much more fun when you really allow yourself the freedom to become who you were intended all along. Because you don't even know, like, you don't even know what the frick you're capable of until you release that control and take those bold moves to make those bold steps forward and say, okay, what's next? And stop the resistance and allow the life to flow the way that it's intended all along. So those are my 3 things that I'm going to say to you over these last 10 years, what I have learned. It has been an absolute freaking blast and an honor to be on this journey with myself, right? And with most of all, with all of you. Like I couldn't be here if I also didn't have the support of those that love me and those that also want to see me rise into this next space as well. So there's a lot to come. There is so much happening behind the scenes. I'm really excited about it. I'm more than anything thrilled that you're here. Please share this with other people, share this community, share this podcast, share my website. It's not even my website. It's like our website, which is also shifting. It already has. The website's new. So there's a lot of new verbiage on there. Go listen to it. Go read it. There's a new speaking reel coming out pretty soon. And yeah, there's just a lot of new cool things happening. If you want to join our retreat in January, the Grand Canyon retreats, I'm running one by one. So as of right now, because I am stepping into other things as well, the January retreat, January 29th through February 2nd, is the one to step into. I don't know if I'll be doing any more after that. It really depends on a lot of things. And it's a 3-month journey into self. We dive into all of this stuff that I talk about. And it is life-changing in all of the ways. I have no other words. Personal development, adventuring. We talk about everything from imposter syndrome, saboteur, resistance, your possibilities, healing, growing. We do so much awesome work, energy healing. It's just a blast on top of it. We laugh a lot. So if you would be interested in coming, please email me, Sara at sarashiltoncrans.com. Drop me a message or a DM in Instagram. Facebook, I'm not in as much, but definitely Instagram and LinkedIn. I'm a lot in those spaces. And so drop me a DM and I'd love to chat with you. Right now, we are half filled, if not more than half filled. And it's 25% off through December 15th. We do start working in the week of December 15th. So get into this and start your 2024 off right. And it's co-ed, so male, female. So there's that. And then, there's just so much more that I will share along the way as well as time unfolds. And in 2 weeks, my podcast episode that I decided I'm going to do is all on relationships. One of them is going to be about, one of the things I'm going to touch on is, should I get back with my ex? It's going to be good. So it's all the stuff that I've been jamming with other people on, and I know that it will benefit everybody as well. So with that, I love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful remainder of your day. Thank you for being here. Have an incredible Thanksgiving holiday coming up. I will. I know that. And just know that I'm grateful for each and every one of you. My love to you. And I will talk to you again next week.